while billions of followers around the world continue to watch and pray for Pope Francis. His health remains a concerning and deeply mysterious issue. Recently, a lot of information related to his health has been widely shared on social media platforms, leaving many concerned about the future of the Church. Recently, the Vatican announced that the Pope is experiencing mild neurological fatigue. And although the issue has been resolved, many questions still remain unanswered. Can he overcome this challenge and continue to lead the Catholic Church through this difficult period? And behind the image of that renowned religious leader, what are some untold stories and truths about the life of Pope Francis that we have never known before? Today, join us as we explore 10 little-known, fascinating facts about Pope Francis. Through the captivating stories in his memoir, we can gain deeper insight into a resilient and ever-surprising Pope. 1. Information about Pope Francis, a leader with a distinctive style. Pope Francis is a prominent and often surprising figure in the history of the Catholic Church, having been elected Pope in 2013. He not only captured attention for his South American origins but also for being the first in over 500 years to choose the name Francis, embodying a spirit of humility and dedicated service. But what truly makes Pope Francis a remarkable figure is his unconventional decisions. Here are the natural English translations for the given Vietnamese text. For the first time in history, a pope has opened up to share the private corners of his life, his thoughts, and personal views in a work titled Hope. This book is not merely a memoir, but also a profound message to the world amid the relentless shifts of our era. It's fascinating that although there have been many popes before who wrote books or recounted their lives, but no one dares to openly express such profound thoughts and strong opinions as Pope Francis. Another unique aspect is that this book was not published after his passing, as is customary. The passage will be released in 2025, just before the start of the Church's Jubilee year. Why did you choose to publish the book so early? Is this a reminder that we need to convey important thoughts before it's too late? You'll be surprised by the answer and even more eager to discover the messages he conveys through these hopeful words. The book has been widely published in over 80 countries, in which the Pope shares little-known aspects of his life. Pope Francis's memoir Hope is not merely a work recounting his life. At the same time, it is also a truthful portrayal of the ideals and principles he steadfastly pursued throughout his lifelong revolutionary activities. One of the recurring themes in the book is his fierce anti-war stance, especially wars of aggression and violent acts. He did not view war merely as a crime against humanity. That is not only an inhumane act but also contrary to the teachings of God. This is not just a personal opinion. That is a powerful message from the head of the Catholic Church to the modern world, where war and violence still rage, sowing sorrow and suffering. Additionally, a controversial issue that has drawn attention is the Pope's stance on controlled capitalism. He harshly criticized the current global economy, believes that this leads to wealth inequality, exploitation of the vulnerable, and environmental destruction. These criticisms are not merely empty theories. The passage is substantiated by the Pope through current events and realities unfolding in today's society. This is most evident in the book when he mentions the economic crises, social injustices, and how the Church can become a powerful force of resistance against such forces. He also spent much time emphasizing the vital role of the environment. In a world facing a severe climate crisis, Pope Francis emphasized that protecting the earth is not the responsibility of individuals alone. Du kong kaila trak ni ma kanla nia vu dao duk kua mua noi. Hope is the most powerful spur to human action. Let's take a moment to reflect on our lifestyle and our relationship with nature. Few people know that Pope Francis's life was once tied to a heartbreaking maritime tragedy. The incident occurred in 1927, claiming nearly 300 lives. This is no ordinary tale, but one directly tied to the grandparents of the Pope, those who nearly lost their lives in that accident. The story happened when his grandparents had bought tickets on the fateful voyage from Italy to Brazil. However, as they couldn't sell all the assets in Italy in time, they decided to cancel the trip and change their tickets to another train. Thanks to this change, the Pope's grandparents were fortunate enough to escape the disaster. And from that moment, the future Pope was born. This is not merely a random coincidence. providence in each person. Pope Francis has repeatedly affirmed that. Even count how many times I. This event is not only a significant milestone in his life. Providence in one. This story once again affirms the immense value of faith and hope in human life, even when faced with unexpected and challenging situations. Additionally, the story highlights a meaningful aspect of Pope Francis's character. He always viewed life through the lens of faith, cherishing every moment, big or small. With him, all things that happen, whether blessings or adversities, everything that happens has a reason and is part of God's plan. Youth was one of the most important periods in Pope Francis's life. He was born into a poor family in Buenos Aires, Argentina, so he did not enjoy a life of wealth and luxury like many others. However, it was precisely those childhood experiences that became the solid foundation for the values the person pursued throughout their life. A tragic event forever changed his life. In 1961, when he was just 24 years old, his father suddenly passed away while cheering for a San Lorenzo Utic football match. That suffering forced him to grow up quickly, taking on the heavy responsibilities of the eldest child in the family. The death of his father was a profound shock, not only to him but also to his entire family. This event profoundly influenced Pope Francis's worldview, to help him gain a deeper understanding of the meaning of life, death, and the core values of existence. It was the small challenges that forged him to become strong, resilient, and always live for others. This loss helps the Pope gain a deeper understanding of the meaning of love, sacrifice, and responsibility. Those invaluable lessons became a solid foundation, enabling him to steadfastly walk the path of serving the Church and dedicating his life to the community. The memories of his father and the values he passed down are the driving force that inspires him to continue dedicating himself with passion and devotion. Here's a natural English translation of your text. Since 1990, he decided to stop watching television. It may sound strange, but that very change clearly reflects his perspective on the modern world. Everything began on a July evening in 1990, when the Pope was watching television with the Jesuit community in Buenos Aires. At that very moment, a horrifying scene appeared on the screen, making him feel utterly humiliated. Immediately, he swore before the Virgin Mary that he would never watch TV again. The reason behind this decision isn't just about opposing what you saw on the screen. Not only that, it is also an awakening and a longing to live in a world less influenced by the media. The Pope observed that television frequently broadcasts images of violence, moral decay, and meaningless information. This diminishes people's mental well-being and quality of life. For him, staying away from television was the way to keep his mind free from harmful influences. However, despite promising not to watch television, the Pope still occasionally tunes into certain special programs, such as significant events or experiences that taught him valuable lessons. Your actions make me reflect on the influence of media on each person's spiritual life. And can we regain the same peace and ability to focus as the Pope? One of the boldest journeys in Pope Francis's life was his official visit to Iraq in 2021. In a tense and high-risk period, as the country was still deeply mired in political crisis. Here are the two natural English translations based on your options. Despite warnings from international security agencies about the dangers and advice against making this trip, but the Pope remained steadfast in making the visit to express his spirit of solidarity and unity with the Catholic community. And the entire Iraqi population is enduring immense suffering. During this visit, the Pope found himself in an extremely tense situation upon receiving a warning from British intelligence. There may be assassination attempts targeting you. A woman carrying explosives was discovered while moving toward the location the Pope was about to visit, along with a truck driving in with the intent to attack. Thanks to the timely support of the Iraqi police, all threats were prevented. Nevertheless, going through such life-threatening situations led the Pope to deeply reflect on the work he was doing and the reasons for his own steadfastness. This visit is not only a symbol of courage, but also affirms the indomitable spirit and unwavering faith of the Pope in his sacred mission. Despite being one of the most powerful figures on the planet, Pope Francis remains humble, never pursuing ostentation or extravagant ceremonies. This is clearly reflected in his final wish, a simple, unadorned funeral. The Pope has decided that after his passing, he will not rest in St. Peter's Basilica like his predecessors, but instead has chosen the Basilica of Santa Maria Maggiore in Rome as his final resting place. This is where he frequently visited to pray and seek peace before significant events in his life. This decision stems from a profound reason. For the Pope, the Vatican has been his home throughout his years of service, but it is not where he wishes to rest eternally. Simply put, he did not want his death to turn into a festival of power struggles, but only wished for it to become a humble part of life's journey, like that of any other human being. The Pope wishes his funeral to be conducted with solemnity yet simplicity, reflecting a profound respect for life and death. This not only reflects his humble virtue, but also conveys a profound message about living a simple, modest life and cherishing noble moral values. The Pope's health, tense and anxious hours. Currently, the Pope's health is causing widespread concern and unease. He is battling serious health issues, including bronchitis and a lung infection. Even at 88 years old, the Pope's health remains a topic of special concern, especially as he maintains a packed schedule and frequently participates in major church events. The most recent incident that stirred public concern was his critical health condition in 2023, which required doctors to provide intensive treatment at the hospital. The global Catholic community is filled with both excitement and anxiety, as the Pope is not only their spiritual leader but also a vital symbol for over 1.4 billion faithful. Pope Francis is renowned for his steadfast spirit and strong determination. This has led many to believe that he will overcome this challenge, just as he has conquered every difficulty in over a decade of leading the Church. Yet, the fact that he has not yet passed the critical stage makes us reflect on the fleeting nature of life, as well as the immense contributions the Pope has devoted to humanity over all these years. Pope Francis is not only the supreme leader of the Church but also a visionary reformer. Over his more than 11 years in office, he has implemented groundbreaking reforms that have transformed the face of the Catholic Church. Taboo. He opened unprecedented opportunities, allowing women to assume top leadership positions in the Vatican. Additionally, the Pope has made significant contributions to promoting interfaith dialogue. His historic visits to Muslim-majority countries such as Abu Dhabi and Saudi Arabia have opened great opportunities to foster understanding and connections among different faiths. This holds significant meaning in reducing tension and conflict among different faiths. These reforms not only profoundly impact the Church but also have widespread global influence. Especially in today's global context, when the need for peace and solidarity is more urgent than ever. Pope Francis and his world-shaking messages. Pope Francis is renowned for his profound and progressive views on environmental protection. He consistently emphasizes that environmental degradation is not merely a scientific or political issue. This is a moral issue, reflecting human greed and irresponsible attitudes toward nature. His messages such as *Laudato Si*, and *Fratelli Tutti* have clearly highlighted the profound connection between environmental degradation and social issues like poverty, injustice, and human rights. The notable point is that the Pope did not stop at mere appeals but also urged concrete actions. He proposed strategic solutions to change how we perceive the environment and the community. At the same time, accelerate the implementation of international agreements, including the Paris Agreement on climate change. Pope Francis has convened numerous conferences and regularly meets with the Council of Bishops to discuss measures to protect the Amazon rainforest as well as the rights of indigenous peoples. Your actions have demonstrated that protecting the environment and advocating for the rights of the vulnerable are shared responsibilities of the entire society.